let me introduce myself. First, my name is Raninta Candra Dewi. You can call me Raninta. I am from 6C, and today I'm going to do an interpretation on a video titled How to Improve Your Listening Skills by LBCC Study Skills. So here it is.
Okay.
Baiklah.
You look good, so we're going to go ahead and
Sekarang kita
start.
akan mulai.
Okay.
Okay.
One quick, I guess, word of introduction to the workshop today. This is technically the first of two parts. Next week, we're going to talk about taking better lecture notes. It's really hard when a teacher is talking full speed, and that's pretty much how they all talk, to know what to write and how to write it. And it just gets very confusing. One of the reasons that this is part one is because if you're not mentally in the room, listening carefully, you can't take good notes. And so many people struggle with their concentration, with their listening skills. So the idea is, we want to try to get that stronger today, and then if you're able to be back next week, I'll teach you how to actually physically write notes in a way that might be different than what you do now, and might be better, might be more helpful. Okay, so that's kind of the idea. Okay, here's what I want to say to begin with. Whenever students see the title of this workshop, Improving Your Listening Skills, I get some really interesting responses from people. People look at me and they say, "You're going to teach us how to listen?" And I said, "Well, actually, yes." And people say, "Well, I already know how to do that. And hearing and listening are not the same thing at all. And most people, as I said, are really not good at it. And we're going to talk about that to start with. But here's my little quick introduction to this whole thing, and that is, I talk to students really often, and I don't know if this is going to sound familiar to you, but I talk to students and I go up to one and I say, "Do you ever have a hard time concentrating when somebody's talking to you?"
Kesusahan menakan orang sedang mengobrol dengan kamu, dan ini jawabannya.
What?
Hah, apa?
Okay, good. You come to me with me to the workshop. People's ability to concentrate is kind of scary. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start with problems. Don't want to think about those too much, but there are a lot of reasons why people have a hard time concentrating. We're going to talk about three of them really fast, and then we're going to focus on solutions. It's always nice when there are twice as many solutions as problems. Too bad life isn't quite like that, but anyway, that's sort of encouraging. So, out of all the reasons you might think of why a person has trouble concentrating, some of those are going to be addressed over here, but I want to show you three of them. And what I'd like to have you do while I'm explaining these is to figure out something for yourself. I'm not going to actually ask you, I just want you to think about it. Which one of these three are you guilty of the most often? In other words, it's your personal weakness. And one thing I know for sure, this might surprise you, I know, even though I don't know anybody in here really, I know that all of you suffer from all three of these. And how can I know that? It's because you're a human being. You'll understand as I go through, okay? So the first one, which is a major problem for a lot of people, is what's usually referred to as pseudo-listening. Okay, and what does pseudo mean? Yeah, it means false or fake. Okay, so the question is, do you ever fake listen? Okay, and if you say no, then you're either the greatest listener of all time or you don't understand what that means yet. But let me give you an example of it, and then you'll realize, oh yeah, I do that, whether it's some or a lot. When I teach a class, at any given moment, everybody in the room is in one of three categories related to this issue. And so I'm going to make some of you nervous here in a minute, but that's okay. Some people, when I'm talking, and I don't just stare at my notes, I kind of make eye contact with people as I teach. Sometimes I look at a person and they're looking at me like this. And I can tell right away when I look at them, they're locked in on me and they're paying really good attention to me. Okay, do I like to see that? Yes. It's nice to know somebody's listening. So I tend to look at those people more often than anybody else. Okay, and then there are some people, and I hope none of you are ever like this because it's pretty disrespectful, who sit in class and are just like this. and all that, and they're advertising the fact, I'm not listening, I don't care, who cares if I'm being rude, I'm not listening. That doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while. And then there's the third group. All of you are in this group every once in a while, but some of you, when I describe this, you realize I almost live there, and I've got to get out of there. These are people like this. As I'm teaching, I look at somebody, and I see them doing this. Everything looks
Semua
really
terlihat
good on the
baik-baik saja
outside,
dari luar.
but when I look deep in
Ketika
their
saya
eyes,
benar-benar melihat mata
there's
mereka,
nobody there.
tidak ada siapa-siapa di sana.
They're gone
Mereka
on
pergi
what I
ke
call a
apa yang
mental
saya sebut sebagai
vacation.
liburan mental.
And if you saw
Ketika
this
kalian
from the
melihat
front of a
dari
room,
ruangan,
it's like a science
ini
fiction
seperti
movie, like
science
somebody
fiction.
sucked
Jadi
them
seperti
right
ada
out of
orang
their
yang
body.
melihat mereka
They're
dari
just
luar
sitting there
tubuh mereka, dan mereka cuma duduk di sana
like that,
seperti
and
ini.
I know they're not
Dan
listening
saya
to
tahu
one
mereka
word
tidak
I'm saying.
mendengarkan
Okay,
satupun
when
yang
somebody
saya
goes on a
dengarkan.
mental
Ketika
vacation,
seorang pergi ke liburan
that's
mental, itu normal.
normal. But the question is for
Tapi
you, don't
pertanyaannya
answer
adalah,
me.
jangan
How
jawab saya,
often do you go
seberapa
on
sering kalian
vacation?
pergi berlibur, dan
And how long are
berapa
you
lama
gone when you
kalian
go?
ada di
And
sana
I'll let you
ketika
know a
kalian
little
pergi.
secret.
Saya akan
Sometimes
memberikan
I've
tahu
looked at
kalian
somebody in
rahasia
class
kecil.
and I
Kadang-kadang
see
ketika saya
them,
melihat di kelas, saya melihat orang mereka seperti itu.
and I know that they're
Saya
not
tahu mereka
listening,
tidak
so I
menyimak.
look somewhere else and talk.
Jadi
Then
saya
I
melihat
look
ke arah
back,
lain dan saya balik
and
lagi.
they're still on
Dan mereka
vacation.
masih liburan.
So I look
Jadi
over here, and then I
aku
look
melihat ke arah
back,
sini
and
dan
a
saya
few
balik
minutes
lagi
later,
beberapa menit kemudian,
they're still on
dan
vacation.
mereka masih liburan.
And so I've
Jadi saya
always
dari
wanted
dulu
to do
selalu
this,
ingin
and I'm really
melakukan
big
ini.
on
Tapi
respect,
saya
so I would
sangat
never do this, but
menghargai seseorang, jadi saya
this
tidak
is
pernah
sort of
melakukan
a
ini.
dream.
Dan hal ini
Maybe.
seperti
I would
mimpi,
go up
benar.
to him like this,
Mimpi yang
like in the
aneh.
middle of
Jadi
class,
saya menghampiri mereka
and I'd
tepat
lean
di
over
tengah
and say,
kelas. Lalu saya bungkuk dan berkata,
Take me
di
with
mana kamu?
Wherever they are, it's obviously a lot more interesting than what we're doing. They're on a beach somewhere. Or I don't know what they're doing. If you're the type of person who lets your mind wander, and then it comes back after a few seconds, and then it wanders later, welcome to the human race. But if you take frequent flyer vacations, and you're gone for like 10 minutes at a time, that's not good. Obviously, you're missing a huge amount of the work. I don't know if this has happened to you before, but when I was a student, I tried so hard to concentrate, but sometimes it's hard. Okay, you know that? And every once in a while, I would drift away and go on vacation. And then a couple minutes later, I would come back into my body, and I'd start listening again. And the first thing I heard the teacher say is, okay, so don't forget that, all right? And I'm thinking, I have no idea what you're talking about. So does that, again, don't answer me, does that sound like a constant nagging problem or an occasional one? It just depends on you, okay? The second one is something that a lot of students misunderstand when I write this down, but I want to try to give you a little example of this too. It's called selective listening. Okay, now, selective listening usually means you listen to what you want to hear, you tune out the rest, right? That's sometimes a problem, but that's not exactly what I mean by this. What I mean by this is this word, and that is distractions. Okay, so the question for you is, how easily are you distracted? And as a result, you don't listen carefully to the person talking to you. This could be in a conversation, this could be in a classroom. And I'm going to give you this example, and again, this will either sound very familiar to you or you think, not so much. I had a student last semester who came up to me after class one day and said something I haven't heard too often from students.
Jarang dengar dari seorang siswa dibilang, saya boleh tidak ngobrol sebentar dengan Bapak? Lalu saya jawab, ya tentu, ada apa? Lalu kami pergi ke ruangan saya yang mana di sini di sini. Dia berkata, bisakah Bapak melakukan sesuatu tentang kebisingan di kelas?
Now, the reason that was so strange is that class he was in was one of the quietest classes I have ever had in my life. You could hear a pin drop, and that's on the carpet. So that's really quiet. Jadi itu benar-benar sunyi. What noise? I'm trying to get people to talk more. And here's what he said. He said, well, I'm trying to listen to them, I'm trying to concentrate, but the person over here is chewing gum. The person over here is clicking their pen. This person's chair is squeaking. And they're giving me a catalog of every sound going on in the room. I never heard any of those. Some other people sitting near them might not have heard them, but some people are so hypersensitive, they're so easily distracted, by anything, that it just takes the smallest thing to completely have them lose focus. Other people are really good at tuning everything out and focusing and barely notice anything around them. Well, if you're the type of person who is really easily distracted, going to talk about some things over here about how to overcome that a little. But that's the second one. And again, out of these two, probably one of them sounds a little more common to you than the other. But the third one,
so that's all about my video. Thank you very much for watching and bye!